welcome back. Whether you've been following this story from the very beginning or you've just joined us today, I'm so glad you're here. My name is Karen and this is my ESL Listen-Along Series, where I read my own novel of Fire and Fate, chapter by chapter, to help you grow your English through real adult storytelling. You can listen like an audiobook or read along with your own copy. The link is in the description. A quick reminder, this is an adult book for listeners 18 and over. It contains themes of domestic abuse, trauma, and other mature content with explicit sexual content in later chapters. If that's not right for you, my Dr. Dolittle series is completely family-friendly and linked below. Still with me? Perfect. Chapter 8 brings us back to Seraphine, and the fragile little life she's been building in Wavecrest finally hits a breaking point. Something happens that pulls the ground out from under her. Something she didn't expect, something she didn't cause, and suddenly the stability she worked so hard to create, her job, her room, her routine, it's gone. She walks out of the cafe with nothing but the clothes she's wearing. No plan, no safety net, just the ocean, the wind, and the impossible question of what to do next. Run? Hide? Tell someone the truth? She goes to the beach to think, to breathe, to try to make sense of what's left, and Draven finds her there. He sits beside her. He doesn't push, he doesn't demand, he simply asks her to dinner. And she hesitates because she should be looking for a new job. She should be figuring out how to leave town. She should be doing anything except saying yes. But she does. Because part of her wants to trust him and part of her is terrified that trust might be another kind of cage. This chapter is about choices, the ones we make out of fear, the ones we make out of hope, and the ones that change everything. Find your page, you have the book, get comfortable, and I'll see you on the other side. Chapter 8 Seraphine. The clang of the cafe's bell above the door barely registers. It's been a long, brutal morning, my paranoia sharp and constant, my hands perpetually shaky. All I want is 5 minutes quiet, to breathe. But when I turn around, Mr. Harrington is standing by the counter, his expression heavier and colder than I've ever seen it. "Sarah, can I see you in the back for a minute?" Something in his tone, a flat finality I hadn't heard before, twists my stomach into a knot. I know instantly that the fragile life I'd built here is collapsing. I follow him, wiping my suddenly slick hands on my apron. He is already standing by the office desk, a spreadsheet in one hand, his jaw tight. "The till hasn't balanced for the last few days," he said slowly, his eyes fixed on the floor. $500 is missing, and you're the only staff member who's been here each day. My breath catches, a sharp, painful gasp. "That's not possible, I didn't—" He cuts me off with a heavy sigh, the sound of a man tired of disappointment. "Please don't lie to me, Sarah. I gave you a chance when no one else would. I had a lot of faith in you." "I didn't take it, I swear, I would never—" My voice cracks, a desperate edge creeping in. The very thought of stealing, of sinking to a level of manipulation Simon would have admired, was repulsive. My innocence didn't matter, though. The evidence did. He looks away, pinching the bridge of his nose. "Then you won't mind me checking in your room?" He didn't wait for an answer, stepping past me towards the small hallway that led to the back door of my room, usually locked and unused. Confusion froze me for a heartbeat before I followed. Dread clawed at my ribs. He produced a key, the spare he had kept, unlocked the door and gestured to the small, rickety table by the bed. The money sat there, 5 stacks of crumpled 20s lying beside my tattered paperback and a glass of water. It was sloppy, it was too easy. For a second, my brain refused to process the image. My heart lurched, the air rushing from my lungs. That wasn't there this morning. The words sounding weak and ridiculous even to my own ears. Mr. Harrington's voice was low, tired, and full of defeat. I don't know what's going on with you, but I can't have this in my cafe. I just can't risk it. You'll get your final pay for the week, but I need you to pack your things. You can stay through the weekend, but after that... He didn't finish. He didn't have to. My sanctuary was gone. My choice to stay or go, taken away. Wait! The word comes out stronger than I expected, stopping Mr. Harrington at the door. He turns, his expression weak. Sarah, there's nothing more to say. Yes, there is. I stand straight, even though I want to huddle in on myself. Someone planted that money, someone who has access to this building, who knows my schedule, who's been systematically destroying everything I've built here. Sarah. The fire! I count on my fingers, my voice gaining strength with each point. The fryer that turned itself on to maximum heat when you know you didn't touch it. That till that keeps coming up short, even though I count it 3 times. The back door keeps coming unlocked. None of this is a coincidence, Mr. Harrington. Someone is setting me up. He's quiet for a moment, and I can see the war playing out on his face, the part of him that wants to believe me, fighting against the cold evidence of that money sitting on my table. Why would someone do that? He asked finally, but his tone had softened slightly. Who would go to that much trouble? My ex-husband. The words taste like ash. His people, they found me and they're punishing me for leaving. This is what they do. They don't just hurt you physically, they destroy your ability to exist in the world. They isolate you, discredit you, make you look crazy or criminal, so no one will help you when they finally come to take you back. Mr. Harrington's expression shifts, not quite belief, but recognition. Sarah, if that's true, if someone dangerous is after you, then you need to go to the police. I laugh a bitter sound and tell them what, my dead husband's cult is gaslighting me, that money mysteriously appeared in my locked room, that I think they're watching me, but I have no proof. I shake my head. They won't help. They'll think I'm paranoid, unstable, and they'll be right to think it because I can't prove any of this. He's silent, and I can see I'm losing him. The money on the table is real. The missing money from the till is real. Everything else is just the word of a woman who's clearly running from something. I understand you have to let me go, I say quietly. I do. You have a business to protect, and you can't afford to take chances. But I need you to know I didn't steal from you. I would never. You gave me a chance when no one else would. And I'm grateful for that, more grateful than I can say. His shoulders sag. I want to believe you, Sarah. I do, but the evidence says otherwise. I know. I swallow hard. Can I ask one thing? When they come asking about me, and they will, don't tell them where I went. Please, just say I left, and you don't know where. Something in his expression cracks. How long have you been running? Long enough, but no matter how quietly I hide, they still come for me. He's quiet for a long moment, then nods slowly. I won't tell them anything, but Sarah, you can't keep running forever. Eventually you have to stop and fight. I know, but I don't tell him that I tried fighting once and it ended with blood on my hands and a body on the floor. Thank you for everything. He grabs the money and leaves without another word, and I'm alone with the evidence of my own destruction. By the time he leaves, my legs are shaking so badly I have to sit down. I stare at where the money had been, the vision burned into my memory as the tangible, irrefutable proof that something I didn't do, and the cold, terrifying realization hits me like a wave. They can get to me whenever they want. The camellia, the unlocked door, the fire, the near-fatal accident, the money. They weren't bad luck, they were deliberate, escalating acts of sabotage and punishment. This was classic Simon, not direct violence, but the systematic destruction of my ability to exist, the slow tightening of a psychological chokehold. The same person who left the camellia, the same someone who's been watching, the same someone I thought I had left buried in the past. Simon. The certainty left me rigid, unable to scream or run. I was trapped, and the world was closing in. By the time I make it to the beach, the sky has turned the color of spiced whiskey, waves rolling in slowly and heavy. Usually this place was my shield, the vastness of the ocean a match for the emptiness in my heart. But tonight, the sea felt different, unsettled, restless, like it knew a storm was coming and I was standing right in its path. I wrapped my arms around my knees and pressed my forehead to them, trying to think through the panic. Options, I need options. Option 1, go to the police. Walk into the station, tell them everything, the compound, Simon, the abuse, what happened that night. Tell them about the hunters and the systemic gaslighting, the escalating threats. Maybe they'd believe me, maybe they'd offer protection. Or maybe they'd arrest me for murder. Self-defense is hard to prove when there are no witnesses. When the entire community would testify that you were unstable, ungrateful, and prone to wild accusations. When the dead man was a respected religious leader, and you're a runaway wife with no credibility. Option 2, run inland. Take what little money I have and try to sneak past the people watching for me at the bus station. Get to somewhere landlocked and anonymous. Cinder Peak, maybe, or Copperfield, somewhere with crowds thick enough to disappear into, far enough from the coast that the compound wouldn't think to look. But they found me here, in this nowhere town, where I was so careful, so invisible. What makes me think I could hide anywhere? They have resources I don't understand, reach I didn't anticipate. And I'm so tired of running, of constantly looking over my shoulder, of building fragile lives that collapse the moment I start to believe in them. Option 3, stop running. The thought comes unbidden, terrifying in its simplicity. What if I just stopped? Let them find me, let them take me back or finish what they started. At least then the uncertainty would end. At least then I wouldn't have to carry this crushing weight of fear anymore. The ocean roars its disapproval, a wave crashing harder than the others, spray reaching almost to where I sit. No, I whisper to myself, to the sea, to the fading light. I didn't survive this long just to give up now. But what's the alternative? Keep running until my money runs out, until I'm sleeping rough and desperate enough that going back to the compound starts to look like mercy? Until the hunters corner me in some alley where there's no golden-eyed stranger to pull me from danger? I think of Draven, the way he keeps appearing exactly when I need him, the steady warmth of his presence, the respect in how he touches me, asking, not taking, the way his eyes see me, really see me without judgment or possession. Maybe that's option 4. Trust someone, tell him the truth, ask for help. But that's not fair to him. Whatever he is, a tourist, a businessman, whatever, he doesn't deserve to be dragged into my nightmare. The hunters are dangerous, professional, and I've already killed one man. I can't ask someone else to risk their life for mine. For a while, there was only the sound of the surf and the sharp, piercing ache of being completely, utterly alone. My carefully constructed life had been ripped out from under me, leaving me exposed and terrified. I had failed. I was running again, only this time I had nowhere to run to. The mental exhaustion was worse than the terror. Then a shadow fell over me, larger than the setting sun. Rough day? The voice was low, familiar, threaded with a quiet warmth I was starting to crave. I look up to find Dre standing a few feet away, hands tucked casually into his pockets, the fading light catching the dark fire in his eyes. He found me, again. I nod, unable to form words. He hesitates, then sits down beside me, not too close, just close enough that I can feel his solid heat through the cool ocean breeze. His presence feels massive, but not demanding. He simply is. For a while, we say nothing. We just sit there, the silence stretching between us like something sacred. The waves roar, washing over our shared space. Finally, he speaks. You don't have to tell me what happened, but you look like your world has shattered. That did it. The dam broke. Tears burn hot down my cheeks before I can stop them. And then I'm crying, really crying, for the first time in years. I try to apologize, to pull away, to maintain the facade, but he moves closer, wrapping a strong arm around my shoulders. His touch is firm, steady, grounding, like an anchor dropped deep into solid ground. And I don't flinch. I lean into him. There is no expectation in his touch, no hurt. The first time a man's touch isn't a precursor to pain. It's a promise of safety. I don't know what's happening to me, I choke out. Things keep getting worse. Small things at first. Then there was a fire, then the car, now this. I feel like I'm losing my mind, like someone's punishing me, like a cage is being built around me. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't offer platitudes or disbelief. He just listens, his thumb brushing small, soothing circles against my arm. I feel his sheer stability seeping into my hysterical panic, drawing the words of the terror out. Sometimes, he says quietly, his voice dangerously low. It's not the ghosts we imagine that haunt us. It's the ones still walking around pretending to be human. I let out a shaky laugh that sounds more like a sob. You make it sound poetic. He gives a small smile, but his eyes, those eyes of liquid flame, are fierce, protective. Maybe I just know what it's like to have a weight on your shoulders all day, every day. A burden that only you can see. When I finally stop crying, the stars have come out. He stands and offers me a hand. I hesitate for only a second, then take it. His grip is warm, steady, like the perfect refuge in a storm. For the first time in years, I don't feel entirely alone or utterly helpless. The waves hush softly against the sand, the night air cool on my skin. He turns slightly, his voice low, gentle, but threaded with something that makes my heart flutter. A quiet, dangerous possession. Tomorrow, he said. Have dinner with me. It wasn't a command, it was a request, careful, almost hesitant, a conscious effort to keep his obvious power in check. I blink, caught off guard. Dinner? He nods once, a small smile touching the corner of his mouth. You've had enough bad days. Let me give you a good evening. No expectations, just food and quiet and maybe a little peace. I can't. I have to find a new job, somewhere to live. My throat tightened. My whole life is falling apart. I'm being hunted, and I can't drag anyone else into my mess. He studies me, those blazing orbs searching my face, reading the space between my words. He doesn't ask who was hunting me. He looks like he already knows. Then softly, sometimes life has to fall apart before you can rebuild it. Something in his tone, steady, certain, warms me in a way that feels dangerously close to hope. His certainty is infectious, a balm to my chaos. The world was crumbling, but he was standing firm, offering me a hand. I don't even have anything fancy to wear to dinner, I murmur to myself, a pathetic attempt to create a barrier. His smile deepens, slow and secretive. Don't worry about that. I'll take care of everything. Tomorrow night, I'll come for you. And though every instinct I had screamed not to trust, not to believe in kindness, I nod before I can stop myself. It was the most terrifying, reckless decision I had made since I left Simon, but for the first time it didn't feel wrong. As he walks away, the sea breeze curls around me, carrying his scent, smoke, spice, and something wild, something that made the air itself feel alive, charged with energy I didn't understand. I stand slowly, brushing sand from my jeans, and that's when I notice it. The street lights along the beach walk are flickering, not the random flicker of old bulbs or power surges, but a rhythmic pulse like a heartbeat. They dim in sequence as Draven passes beneath them, then brighten again once he's moved on, as if responding to his presence, to something he's carrying with him. I blink, certain I'm imagining it, but no, there it is again. The light nearest him glows brighter for a moment, almost golden, before returning to its normal yellow. The salt air around me seems to hum, not a sound exactly, but a vibration I feel in my chest, in my bones. Like standing too close to high voltage wires, that electric tingle that raises the hair on your arms and makes your skin prickle with awareness. And beneath it all, deeper than sound or sight, I feel something, a pull, a thread connecting to my sternum to his retreating form. So faint, I might be inventing it, but persistent enough that I notice when it stretches as he moves further away. My hand raises unconsciously to my chest, pressing against the spot where the sensation originates. My heart is beating faster than it should, not from fear, but from something else. Realization, maybe, or resonance, like two tuning forks finding the same frequency. What are you? I whisper to the empty beach. The ocean doesn't answer. The lights continue their subtle pulse, and Draven disappears around the bend in the path, leaving me standing in the gathering dark with more questions than I started with. But for the first time in so long, I don't feel like I'm running. I feel like I'm being found. And whatever he is, whatever that impossible warmth and those molten gold eyes mean, I'm not afraid of him. I'm afraid of how much I want to trust him, how much I want to believe that someone that powerful might actually use their strength to protect instead of control. The bond, because I can't think of another word for this strange pull in my chest, hums quietly, like it's waiting, like it knows something I don't yet understand. Tomorrow I'll have dinner with a beautiful stranger who makes streetlights flicker and air hum with energy. Tomorrow I'll take the most reckless gamble of my life. But tonight I'll walk back to my temporary room with my hand still pressed to my chest, feeling that faint, impossible thread pulling me towards something that might be salvation, or might be another kind of cage. Guess I'll find out which. And that was chapter 8. This chapter is quiet devastation, the kind that doesn't shout but still knocks the ground from under someone's feet. Seraphine loses her job, her room, and the fragile stability she's worked so hard to build, all in the space of a single conversation. Let's look at the language. 5 words taken directly from this chapter, all of them useful, all of them worth adding to your English. 1. Piles. Mr. Harrington finds piles of cash hidden in Seraphine's room. Piles means stacks, heaps, or large amounts of something placed on top of each other. There were piles of books on the table. She sorted the clothes into piles. It's a simple word, but in this chapter it carries enormous emotional weight because the piles of money are not a gift, they're a trap. 2. Options. On the beach, Seraphine thinks about her options: run, hide, or tell someone. Options are choices, possible paths that you can take. She considered her options carefully. We don't have many options left. For someone who's lived under control, having options is both empowering and terrifying. 3. Resistant. When Draven invites her to dinner, she is resistant. Resistant means unwilling, hesitant, or fighting against something physically or emotionally. He was resistant to the idea at first. The material is resistant to heat. Seraphine isn't resisting Draven, she's resisting hope. She's resisting the idea that someone might be safe. 4. Salvation. She wonders whether Draven might be salvation or something else entirely. Salvation means rescue, safety, or deliverance from danger. The lifeboat was their salvation. For him, music was a kind of salvation. It's a powerful, almost spiritual word, and in this chapter it captures the impossible tension between desire and fear. 5. Cage. She wonders if trusting him might be another kind of cage. A cage is a structure that traps or confines, literally or metaphorically. The bird escaped its cage. The job felt like a cage she couldn't leave. For Seraphine, the word is loaded. She's lived in cages before, physical, emotional, psychological. The fear that safety might become confinement again is very real. The phrase I want to focus on this week appears in Seraphine's internal struggle. She keeps thinking she should be looking for a new job. She should be planning her escape. She should be doing anything except saying yes to dinner. The phrase is should be. We use should be to express obligation, expectation, or the pressure to act a certain way. I should be studying right now. You should be resting. In this chapter, should be becomes a cage of its own. Seraphine's instinct tells her to run, her trauma tells her to hide, her heart tells her to stay. And she's caught between all three. And here's your question for this week. In this chapter, Seraphine keeps thinking about what she should be doing, finding a new job, planning her escape, keeping herself safe. But should is a heavy word. It carries obligation, expectation, and pressure. And sometimes it pulls us away from what we actually want or need. So here's what I want you to think about. What is the difference between what you should do and what you need to do? And how do you decide which one to follow when they don't match? It's a question that touches every part of life: work, relationships, family, identity. And it's a powerful way to practice expressing opinions, reasoning, and personal experience in English. Tell me what you think in the comments. I read every single one. That's chapter 8. Seraphine has lost her job, her room, and the fragile stability she worked so hard to build. But she's also taken a step, a small one, a trembling one, towards connection, towards possibility, towards something that might save her or might break her all over again. Next week, we're in chapter 9. And I'll tell you this, the consequences of that yes arrives faster than she expects. The hunters are not finished. The danger is not distant. And the past she's been running from is about to catch up in a way that changes everything. Chapter 9 is where the shadows start to move. Subscribe so you don't miss out. If you can't wait, the book link is in the description. I completely understand. Take care of yourselves.